everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's March 4th, 2020. I'm Stephanie Haney. This is 3 News Now, where we tell you our top headlines, trending topics, and what we're working on for you right now. Lots of stuff to get into for you today. First up, we're going to take a look at unexpected wins and fallout for other candidates following Super Tuesday. Also, here in Ohio, news that's upsetting to some. Arnold Schwarzenegger has decided to postpone the expo portion of the 2020 Arnold Classic Sports and Fitness Festival that was set to take place this weekend in Columbus, starting tomorrow through Sunday. We'll tell you about that. In the entertainment world, Jeopardy host Alex Trebek has hit the 1-year mark since his diagnosis with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, beating the odds of survival up until this point, and he's remaining hopeful, but sharing the difficulty of the journey so far. Then we're going to bring in our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. He has some insight for us into why in the world it was reported that the Browns were interested in potentially hiring former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice as the head coach to replace Hugh Jackson. And then finally, we'll tell you how you can earn a cool $1,000 just by watching The Office. I know this is a popular trend, binging shows and being able to make money by doing it. So we'll let you know how you can do that if you're an Office fan. So we appreciate you being a part of the live stream. Let me know where you're watching from. Always love to see that. As you've probably noticed, the lights have gone out. My producer is going to go run and fix that for us. Sometimes they get turned out for us over here at the turntable. All right, first up, we're going to start talking about Super Tuesday. So there were definitely some unexpected results after Super Tuesday. We're still waiting for the full results to come back in, but most of those results we can report with a high degree of likelihood. So former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg announced this morning that he's dropping out of the race. That was kind of an unexpected bombshell after him spending so much money, reportedly $500 million, since entering the race in November. And he has announced that he'll actually be endorsing former Vice President Joe Biden. He tweeted this: 3 months ago, I entered the race to defeat Donald Trump. Today, I'm leaving for the same reason. Defeating Trump starts with uniting behind the candidate with the best shot to do it. It's clear that is my friend and a great American, Joe Biden. Bloomberg is joined by former Senator Amy Klobuchar and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg in endorsing Vice President. They also dropped out just before Super Tuesday. He did not pick up, Bloomberg specifically, didn't pick up a single delegate in any of the 14 states that voted, but he did manage to win the U.S. territory of American Samoa, so that got him a handful of delegates there. But Bloomberg has said the delegate math has become personally impossible and a viable path to nomination no longer exists for him. That's true if you simply just look at the numbers, so he's acknowledging that and stepping out of the race at this time. He also said this, quote, I am immensely proud of the campaign we ran, the issues we raised, and the sweeping and achievable plans we proposed, including our Greenwood initiative to right historic wrongs, fight racial inequality, and make the promise of equal opportunity real for the black communities that have endured centuries of exploitation and discrimination. I will continue to work for sensible, common sense policy solutions that can get done. That was in an email statement from Bloomberg. He also said this race is bigger than candidates and bigger than politics. It's about defeating Donald Trump, and with your help, we are going to do it. So those are the results for Bloomberg out of the race. Another person who is considering what's possible for her following the outcome of Super Tuesday is Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's been talking with her campaign team today, trying to determine if there's a reason for her to stay in the race after a less than desirable Super Tuesday turnout for her. So an aide to the senator said she was now assessing the path forward. That aide, of course, spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the internal campaign moves. Publicly, Elizabeth Warren's campaign manager, Roger Lau, sent an email on Wednesday that acknowledged that they, quote, fell short of viability goals and projections, end quote, and were disappointed in the results. That email also said she's going to take the time right now to think through the right way to continue the fight. One of the unexpected results for Warren, she did end up finishing 3rd in her home state of Massachusetts. So as we look at this right now, the reason Super Tuesday is so important is because 1/3 of the Democratic convention delegates are assigned on Super Tuesday in those 14 states that vote on Super Tuesday. And in order to win the Democratic nomination, a delegate needs a simple majority of those votes. So there are a total of 3,979 delegates to the Democratic convention. A candidate has to get 1,991 of those votes in order to outright win the nomination at the Democratic convention. At this point, however, it is possible that a candidate might not get 1,999 votes, and if that happens, then it moves to a second ballot, which this is where we admit that new voting block of 771 super delegates. I know there's a lot of conversation around the term super delegates. So what those are party insiders and, quote, VIPs. These are Democratic members of Congress, former presidents, vice presidents, and members of the Democratic National Committee, to name a few. So to win the second ballot, a candidate has to get a majority of votes, which is 2,375.5, because those super delegates are then added to that total number. So the original pledged delegates as well are also free to support a different candidate on that ballot. So things could definitely shake up if nobody does win a majority. We have to move to a contested convention. We will see how that plays out. Of course, this is very interesting to us. As we know, our primary here in Ohio is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, coming up here very soon. This weekend in Ohio, Arnold Schwarzenegger's 2020 Arnold Classic Sports and Fitness Festival is being postponed. That was supposed to kick off tomorrow at the Greater Columbus Convention Center in downtown Columbus. But Arnold has posted a story on Instagram. It's actually a post on his Instagram page saying that they have decided not to have the exposition portion of that event this weekend. He said that money is less important than health, and their event is all about health. This is, of course, over concerns related to the COVID-19 coronavirus. Now, we don't have any confirmed cases here in Ohio, but the speculation around this move is that they are trying to possibly prevent that from happening. And Arnold Schwarzenegger said because they are the leaders in the health community, they want to make sure that they are promoting health and that health is more important than money. Definitely going to be losing out on a lot of money, and the Columbus area losing out on a lot of money. This convention typically draws over 250,000 people. That was the number that was expected. And of course, bodybuilding competitions and strongman competitions. Now, those will still take place, but they will do it without an audience. However, people will be able to attend the final championship round. That's going to be on Saturday night. That's the latest as of this time. So Schwarzenegger came to this decision after talking with Governor Mike DeWine, talking with the mayor of Columbus, taking into consideration what the Centers for Disease Control have said, and doctors and other health officials. So that's why this decision was made, according to Schwarzenegger in his video, of course, saying he's very sad about this move, but it's the move that he felt he needed to make. Now, he did stress that the expo will take place eventually this year, but it just won't be this weekend in Columbus. He didn't give any kind of an indication about when he would move the expo to, but did say that it would be later this year, stressing that it was not canceled, it was just postponed. Okay, moving on to the entertainment industry. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek has hit the 1-year mark since his diagnosis with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and he's sharing how despite there being days when he's really wondered if the fight was worth it, he's very happy to have reached this milestone. This is a big deal because the 1-year survival rate for stage 4 pancreatic cancer is 18%. So Trebek said, quote, "I'm very happy to report that I have just reached that marker." And he shared how he has been so impacted by this treatment. This is what he said. He said, "I'd be lying if I said the journey had been an easy one. There were some good days, but a lot of not so good days." He is 79 years old, so he has lived a long, full life, and he did make that point in a video talking about how he had wondered at times if the pain and the suffering and the depression were really worth it to keep fighting. But then he said this, "I brushed that aside quickly because that would have been a massive betrayal, a betrayal of my wife and soulmate, Jean, who has given her all to help me survive. It would have been a betrayal of other cancer patients who have looked to me as an inspiration and a cheerleader of sorts, of the value of living in hope, and it would certainly have been a betrayal of my faith in God and the millions of prayers that have been said on my behalf." And he ended the video hopeful, as he has been throughout this process. He said, quote, "If we take it just one day at a time with a positive attitude, anything is possible." Okay. Moving on to the sports world, we have three new sports analysts, Ben Axelrod, joining us to talk about that pretty surprising report that we all heard that the Cleveland Browns were interested in Condoleezza Rice as the head coach.
Yeah, so this came out in 2018, shortly after they fired Hugh Jackson. In the middle of the season, there was a report from Adam Schefter that the Browns wanted to talk to Condoleezza Rice about their head coaching opening, and it kind of came out of nowhere, obviously, as you might expect, considering
Yes.
Condoleezza Rice doesn't have much experience or any experience as a football coach. The Browns came out and squashed it. But what's new about it, while we're writing about it and talking about it, is that Adam Schefter, the reporter who reported on it, he told the backstory about what happened to Barstool Sports as part of my take last week.
So how does this happen? How does this kind of an idea get floated and reported?
So from Schefter's side of the story, and there's two sides to every story, what happened was when the Browns were doing their press conference after they fired Jackson, John Dorsey, who was then the general manager, said, I want to talk to the best candidate, even if that's a woman. And so that quote kind of piqued Adam Schefter's interest, and he called the Browns, and he wouldn't obviously reveal who his source was, but he had a source involved in the decision-making process with this sort of stuff, and said, is there a woman you want to talk to? And they said, as a matter of fact, there is, Condoleezza Rice.
Okay.
So Adam Schefter said, can I report that? And they said, let us get back to you, and eventually came back and said, sure, yeah, you can report it, for the Sunday show, the kickoff shows they do on ESPN. And Adam Schefter reports it, and actually the Browns called him then the night before. His source called him and said, are you going to report this? And he said, yeah. They said, good. We're excited to hear the reaction. And so Adam Schefter reports it, and there's all this negative backlash, and the Browns come out, I think during the game or before the game they were about to play, and said, we have no plans to talk to Condoleezza Rice, and basically denying the entire report. So there's always been theories about what happened. One of the most popular has been that the Browns were doing this to kind of smoke out any leaks they had in the building and see who we could give this to and who's leaking it. But Schefter's pretty certain that's not what happened. He thinks what happened is the Browns wanted to test the public reaction to it, and when it was so overwhelmingly negative, they ultimately backed away from going forward with talking to Condoleezza Rice.
So does he think that maybe they were actually considering Condoleezza Rice for the position?
So that's where it gets kind of cloudy. It doesn't seem clear whether they just wanted to talk to Condoleezza Rice and pick her brain, or if they were actually seriously considering her as a head coaching candidate. And I think the two things are kind of different. And I think on the one hand, if you were just going to talk to her and pick her brain, she's a smart woman. She has been involved in some football stuff. She was a part of the college football playoff committee. That might make sense. But yeah, if you're interviewing her to make some off-the-wall hire and somebody who's not even familiar with X's and O's. Now, the Browns have made hires like that before in their front office, so I guess it wouldn't be unprecedented. But, yeah, that's where it kind of gets kind of murky is what exactly were they looking to get out of these conversations with Condoleezza Rice?
Well, that's definitely interesting. Would have loved to be a fly on that wall in the room that he's on the phone with that person and says, yes, actually, Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what his reaction was.
And the conversations that happen after that.
Yep.
Do you think it's just the Browns organization just kind of sitting back and thinking, let's just give them something to talk about?
I think the Browns give us plenty to talk about, whether they're trying to or not, as you know. So I don't think it was done for PR purposes. I do think I take Schefter at his word that he thinks the Browns wanted to gauge the public reaction on this, but they probably overestimated or underestimated, how severe that backlash would be and how it would be spun and how it would make the Browns look like they just have no idea what they're doing.
Right. Well, that's interesting. Well, thanks for sharing that with us,
Absolutely.
Ben. Always love getting an update about the Browns in the offseason. I know I like any chance to talk about the Browns.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, here's some good news for you. If you are a fan of watching The Office, you can actually make $1,000 by doing it. So Dish Network has been doing this with a variety of things today. Now it's Michael, Jim, Pam, and Dwight's turn. If you binge The Office, one person will be selected. You have to apply. We do have the link to apply on our WKYC app and WKYC.com. You can earn $1,000. The person who is selected will have 9 days, and they'll watch roughly 45 episodes of The Office, but you will be put to work while you're doing it. While you're doing it, you'll be making a tally of sort of the most common moments from The Office, like how many times does Stanley roll his eyes at the camera, and how often does Phyllis talk about Bob Vance from Vance Refrigeration, and those kinds of things. There will be lots of guidelines, and of course you'll need to document your experience on social media while you're doing it, because if you didn't tweet about it, did it even really happen? The answer in this world is no. So that's on the website right now if you want to check that out. $1,000, hey, and this is all, by the way, in honor of 15 years of The Office this March. So happy 15th birthday to The Office. It's definitely provided a lot of us with a lot of entertainment over the years. You can get links to all of these stories by texting the word NOW to 216-344-3300. Again, that's 216-344-3300. Thanks for joining us here on 3 News Now. We appreciate you being a part of the live stream. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/user/WKYC-TV. If you found us somewhere else, also make sure you like our Facebook page, facebook.com/WKYC.channel3. And I always appreciate hearing from you. Let me know what's trending in your area, what people are talking about. You can reach out to me directly at _Stephanie Haney on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheStephanieHaney. Hope you're all having a great hump day. We are almost halfway through the weekend. We're actually pretty much exactly halfway through the weekend at this point, and we will be there soon. I'll see you tomorrow on 3 News Now.